This program is sponsored by Zad Group.
Allah is my heart's speech, your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest, permit me to pass the ultimate test.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله وسلم وبارك على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد. Dear brothers and sisters in Islam, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to this new episode of Ask Huda, coming to you live from Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, where we will try our level best to answer the questions that you phone in and ask. Just before we receive the first caller, Dima sent us an email saying that, can I fast every 13th of the Islamic calendar? I cannot fast 14th and 15th also, as I'm working and it's hard for me. First of all, the ruling of fasting what is known as the white days. These are the 13, 14, and the 15th of every lunar month, which is the Islamic calendar. The ruling of fasting these 3 days is a highly recommended sunnah. Abu Hurairah, may Allah be pleased with him, said that the Prophet ﷺ advised me to do 3 things I will never leave. To offer 2 rak'ahs of duha, to fast 3 days of every month. In another narration, he stated that they are the 13th, 14th, and the 15th, and to offer witr before I go to bed. So it is a highly recommended sunnah, and the scholars say that whoever fasts 3 days every lunar month, this would be equivalent to fasting the whole year, because Allah tells us that 1 good deed is equivalent to 10. So 3 days of every month is equivalent to 30 days, which means that if you do this every single month, then you have fasted the whole year, and Allah would reward you for that. Now, fasting or singling 1 day of these 3 days due to difficulty, whether to illness or fatigue or work, or for any other reason, this is permissible, but not necessarily that you fast the 13th or the 14th or the 15th. You can fast any day of the month as long as it is not prohibited for you to single out. So if someone fasts the 2nd day of the month or the 29th day of the month, this is all the same, and there is no preference in that, inshaAllah. Mature Rahman, or Muti'ur Rahman, or whatever the name is, he says, if one says out of his mouth which he does not have in his heart, is this hypocrisy? Hypocrisy in Arabic is nifaq. And nifaq, or hypocrisy, is divided into 2 types. Major, that nullifies a person's Islam, and minor, and some would call it practical signs of hypocrisy. And this is a major sin, or even greater than a major sin, but it is not something that nullifies a person's Islam. And the scholars define hypocrisy as saying, pretending to do Islam while embedding and intending inside of your heart the hatred of Islam and the enmity of Islam. So a real hypocrite is, or a real munafiq, is the one who pretends to be a Muslim. Allah described them in chapter 4, Surah An-Nisa, that they remember Allah seldomly. And they go to prayer, but when they go to prayer, they go in a state of laziness. And they may give in charity, but they're stingy, and rarely they do so. So all of these features are found among the Muslims. But what's in the heart is what Allah would judge. So even if a person prays, even if a person says, I believe in Allah and the Messenger of Allah, Surah Al-Munafiqeen, if you go to this surah that Allah called it, the surah of the hypocrites. The first ayah, Allah says, whenever the hypocrites come to you and say, we testify that you are the messenger of Allah, and Allah testifies that you are truly the messenger of Allah, but Allah Azza wa Jal testifies that the hypocrites are liars. So this is true and real hypocrisy. But if someone says something that is not related to Islam, while intending something else, this is not considered to be hypocrisy. This might be being diplomatic. So if I see someone I hate his guts, should I curse him and say bad things to him, though this is how I feel? Or should I smile and try to be nice and cordial and diplomatic? So this has nothing to do with hypocrisy, because hypocrisy deals with deen. When you intend that the Muslims fail or lose or be killed, or the kafir prevail and win all over the world, and the democracy dominates everything else, even the Quran, this is true and genuine 100% hypocrisy. Hajja from the USA.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamtullah.
Okay, I wonder if you can tell me, authentic hadith, going to the bed at, like nighttime, what exactly should I read?
You meaning supplications?
Yes, supplication, yeah, for the bed. I'm so scared of the, the punishment of the grave.
For yourself or for someone who is already dead?
No, for myself, not for myself.
Okay.
I just want authentic one. I have some, but someone told me it's not authentic, so I just wanted the authentic one. If you can tell me a book, or if you can email me, whatever you can do for me, I just want something authentic.
I will answer you, Hajja. I will answer you, inshallah. Don't worry.
Okay.
Hajja has a question similar to question number 9, or actually number 10. Munir says, often I remember death and I feel very afraid. I dream that I have died and I wake up very scared. Now, the fear is a human characteristic. Every single person has to be afraid. You have to fear. So, no, I'm a Muslim, I trust Allah, I depend on Allah, and I rely on Allah. Once you see a cobra or a lion charging at you, let's see your dependence on Allah Azza wa Jal. Definitely we all depend on Allah, but there is natural fear that has nothing to do with shirk or associating others with Allah. If I'm in my room and nobody's with me, and I'm afraid to read a letter or open a book or think of something, because I'm afraid that the authorities may put me behind bars or some tyrant would torture me, this fear relates to shirk. Because I'm fearing someone who does not have the ability to judge my feelings. Yet my fear is far greater than the fear of Allah Azza wa Jal. But natural fear, if your house is on fire, you can't stay in your bedroom and say, I will make dhikr and inshallah it will be extinguished. No, you have to run and you have to fear. This is natural. So fearing death is natural. Now, what is not natural is the consequences. So if there is fear in you, this might be positive and this might be negative. If it drives you to stay away from sins, if it drives you to pray on time in the masjid, to fast Ramadan, to offer voluntary deeds and forms of worship, fearing Allah, loving what He has, Azza wa Jal, hoping for paradise, then this is a positive fear. Because it prevents you from doing what angers Allah Azza wa Jal. But if the fear turns into an obsession, in the sense that it makes you depressed all the time, and it makes you hopeless in Allah's forgiveness and mercy, and it ends up by you saying, if this is the case, then Allah would throw me in hell, and there is no use for me to pray or ask for forgiveness, and you leave all forms of worship. This is negative fear, and it is haram for you to do this thing. Now, going back to Hajja's question, it's the same thing. Fearing the punishment of the grave, this happens to all of us. We have to fear the punishment of the grave, and this is why we do not backbite, we do not take people's chit-chatting to others where they are harmed by it when they hear it. We do not do things that qualify people to be punished in the grave. So what to do? If you have something that you fear and you want a dua, a supplication, there is one great surah that the Prophet told us, ﷺ, that whoever recites it when going to bed, it is composed of 30 ayah. If you recite it every night when you go to bed, Allah Azza wa Jal will exempt you from the punishment or the torment of the grave. And that is Surah Al-Mulk. All the children in Arabia memorize it by heart. It's very easy. You can do that in less than 4 or 5 days. تَبَارَكَ الَّذِي بِيَدِهِ الْمُلْكُ وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. 30 verses only, 30. Also, in every salat, before we conclude the salah, we say the supplication which the Prophet ﷺ ordered us to recite before salam. And that is, اللهم نعوذ بك من عذاب جهنم ومن عذاب القبر ومن فتنة المحيا والممات ومن فتنة المسيح الدجال. Oh Allah, I seek refuge in you from the hellfire, the torment of the hellfire, and from the torment of the grave. So you're seeking Allah's forgiveness and refuge from such trials. And whenever you seek refuge in Allah Azza wa Jal, Allah will give you what you seek. So if you do these two things, inshallah, you have nothing to fear. Khadija from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh. How are you?
Salam wa barakatuh. I'm fine. Jazakallah khair for asking.
Sheikh, actually my question is, I have a piece of land which I purchased with an intention to utilize it for my son's education. Right now he is just 13, but because Indian education is quite expensive, so when he grows up, inshallah, I had planned to utilize it for his education. But right now we are facing some issues, and I plan to sell my site or the land and buy some other property which can help me live my livelihood now, as of present. Earlier, I used to pay zakah for this land. But since I changed my intention before Ramadan, do I need to pay zakah for this land?
Okay, I will answer the question, inshallah. Any more questions?
Jazakallah khair. That's all, Sheikh. Assalamu
Okay.
alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa barakatuh. Now, Khadija is asking a question about a property she bought so that she would utilize the price of this property in the future for her son's education. May Allah Azza wa Jal make him an imam of the Muslims. So she says, every year I used to pay zakat, and this is the right thing to do because you are intending to sell this piece of land, and it is a form of investment. So it's like buying shares in companies, it's like buying gold and storing it until the prices go up, it's like buying anything. Now she says, I changed my intention and I'd like to sell it so that I can buy another property. Would I have to pay the zakat until it's sold? The answer is yes. So the time which you pay zakat every single year for that piece of land, let's assume it's the 1st of Ramadan, it will continue until the 1st of Ramadan. If you sold it before Ramadan is due, and you bought something else with it, not for the purpose of investing, and then there is no zakat on it. But if Ramadan is due and it's not sold yet, or it was sold and the money is still in your hand, you did not buy the new property to live in this case you have to give zakat, and I hope this answers your question. Muhammad from Gambia.
Naam.
Muhammad, mute your television please and listen to me from the phone.
Now, Muhammad, mute your television, please, and listen to me from the phone. Okay. Naam.
Yes, my friend. What can I do for you?
Okay. How are you?
I'm fine, alhamdulillah.
Okay, we are listening and watching this program. We are proud of you, and may God guide you, guide all the imam like you. You are teaching the world something interesting in our deen.
May Allah forgive you, akhi, jazakallah khair.
And my question is to ask you if I can give the zakat, my zakat, to a mosque committee who is seeking help.
Okay, any more questions?
And the second question is, if I have a treasury bill in my account at the bank, they are paying us interest. Can I take that interest and I give it to the poor people, or I leave it with the bank?
Okay. Okay. Any more questions? Okay, I think Muhammad is done. So Muhammad's question relates to the sources whom we can give zakat. Allah Azza wa Jal mentioned 8 categories in the Quran in chapter 9, Surah At-Tawbah, verse 60. And this is the only channel that you can give zakat to, or these are the 8 only channels you can give zakat to. Giving the zakat money to the administration or the committee of the masjid does not fall in any of the 8 categories. And therefore, this is not permissible. And you have to choose whether the poor, the needy, those who are indebted, those who are imprisoned, those who are working on collecting the zakat in the government. So this is only for the government to give. Those whose hearts are inclined to Islam, etc. And in the cause of Allah, of course, in jihad. These are the legal sources for you to pay zakat. And the committee of the masjid is not one of them, unless you specify to them that this is zakat and you know for sure that they're going to give it to the poor or to the needy. Sometimes the committee of the masjid uses the money to expand the masjid, or to make a circle for tahfidh al-Quran, for memorizing the Quran, or for conducting seminars or circles of knowledge. Giving them the zakat is not permissible. But when you know that the committee of the masjid takes care of the poor orphans in the neighborhood, and they give widows money who are unable to pay for the rent or get medical care, in this case, this is permissible. But you have to make sure that you make it clear to them that this is zakat only to be given to these categories, and Allah knows best. We have Aisha from Nigeria.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
Good evening, Sheikh. I
Good.
have 2 questions.
Yes.
The first one is about shaving of the newborn's hair on 7th day of birth. Is this sunnah or obligation, or does the reason refers to both male child and girl child? That's my first question.
Okay. Any more questions?
My second question, yes, and my second question is about the name Halima. I want you to please tell me the correct English spelling of the name, because I saw two different spellings. First one, Halima. The second one, Halwela. And I saw another one with the H in front of the A, that's at the end. So I don't know which one is the correct spelling.
What is the name?
Yes, Halima.
Halima, okay. I will answer you,
I don't
inshallah.
know which is the
I will
correct
answer.
English spelling.
Okay, I will do that, inshallah. Okay, Muhammad from Gambia's second question. He says, what about the interests we get from banks? What should we do with those? If you do not have Islamic banks in your country, and you have only interest-based or conventional banks, then you have to opt for a current account, which does not offer interest. If this is also not possible, and you have to get interest, whether you like it or not, on any deposit you make, in this case, you may take the interest and you may give it to the poor with the intention of cleansing your wealth, not with the intention of getting closer to Allah Azza wa Jal. Harun from Gambia. Harun?
Yeah, Naam. Harun from Ghana.
Yes, from Ghana, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can I do for you, Akhi?
Yeah, please, my problem is, I'm from Ghana, but there is a certain problem who going on to Ghana, and I need your number so that we can talk off air about this issue.
Okay, I would request the people in the control room to provide Brother Harun with my mobile number. Jazakallah khair for calling, Akhi. Sister Aisha from Nigeria, she says, what's the ruling on shaving the newborn? And is there any difference between males and females? The answer is, the Prophet ﷺ instructed us to name the newborn on the 7th day and to shave the head. And he said that remove that filth over his head. And for the boys, for the males, he ordered us to circumcise them on the 7th day of their birth. And this is for males. So it is a highly recommended sunnah to shave, but it is not a mandatory thing. It's not obligatory. So if a person skips it, there's nothing wrong in it. But it is hygienic. It is good for the scalp, and it's good for the newborn. And scholars differed whether females are exempted from this or they're also included. Personal opinion is that they are also included, because the term remove the filth from the head of the newborn, this applies to both males and females, and inshallah it's best for them as well. Aisha, second question was, how do we spell the name Halima? And you have two spellings. Either you spell it as Halima or Halleema. And I would recommend the latter with a double E-M-A, and Allah Azza wa Jal knows best. Tala says, if I memorize through repetition, is it permissible for me to read every night a specific surah before going to bed among the other surahs that we read, such as Al-Mulk and As-Sajda? Or this would be an innovation? I already memorized Al-Mulk and Sajda. Basically, what she's asking is, before going to bed, she recites the prescribed surahs that the Prophet ﷺ either recommended us to recite before going to bed, or he used to do this himself. Now, she is memorizing other surahs. For example, she is memorizing Surah Al-Imran, chapter 3. And it's a long surah. So her way or method of memorizing is by repetition. She repeats the same surah 10, 20, 50 times a day until it sticks in her heart and mind. So she's saying, can I do this before going to bed? And the answer is yes. Isn't this an innovation? The answer is no. Because you are not reciting this particular surah thinking that it is related to going to bed's adhkar. You are reciting it so that you can confirm memorizing it by heart, and you can do this before going to bed, after waking up, while on the treadmill, while at work. There's no problem in reciting it how many times you wish, without any problem, inshallah. Abdul, we have Muhammad from Nigeria. Muhammad from Nigeria, mute your television and listen to me from the phone.
Good morning, good afternoon, Sheikh.
Yes, good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, whatever. Yes, Akhi.
Okay.
Listen to me from the phone, Ya Muhammad.
Yeah, Sheikh. We are really enjoying your program.
Jazakallah khair. What can I do for you?
So my question is,
Muhammad, I think he's gone. I would urge the callers to please, once you get the line, mute your TV. I know it's nice to hear your voice repeated on TV, and you can tell the kids, listen to me, I'm talking on TV, it's live. But this echoing stuff, it takes a lot of our time and your time, and it distracts you from giving the answer, and I lose a lot of time on air trying to wait and anticipate your question. So please, once you get the line, mute your TV and let's communicate over the phone. We have Khadija from the Emirates. Khadija?
Yeah.
Yes, Khadija.
I should ask questions now?
Yes, please.
Is it permissible to
miss if divorced lady, if she permissible to miss her, if she's missing her husband, ex-husband, what is the situation? If she's doing haram or no?
Okay.
And second question is for ladies. Is it okay to participate janaza prayer? Jazakumullah khairan.
Wajazaki. Okay. First question for Khadija says, is it permissible for a divorced woman to mix with her divorcee? And this is totally prohibited because he is a non-mahram now. He is completely a stranger to you. And probably you can be married and he's still your ex. So you have no right in communicating with him, mixing with him, going out for lunch, maybe going out on a date, because his dangers are far greater than the danger of any normal person, a normal stranger. This man, there was a bond between you. There were memories between the both of you. So a word that he says, a glance that he makes, any movement has memories in your mind and in his as well. Definitely this is one of the greatest traps of shaitan, and I have stories that would make your hair white about separated couples who fell into zina, who fell into adultery because of this mixing. She says, what is the ruling on praying a funeral prayer for women? This is totally permissible. The companions, female companions, may Allah be pleased with them, they offered a funeral prayer to the Prophet ﷺ, and offering funeral prayer is sunnah, and it's highly recommended, and there's great reward on it. What is not permissible is for a woman to follow a funeral until it is buried, or to visit a graveyard. This is an issue of dispute among scholars. The most authentic opinion is that it is not permissible. We have Aisha from Gambia.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
I listened to one of your lectures on YouTube talking about divorce, the best way to divorce a wife. I think in the Gambia, the common practice is that you can leave your wife anytime you feel that you don't leave the individual. But I'm saying that you are saying, I want you to be a little bit explicit about it, saying there are two ways that you can leave your wife, whether when she's pregnant or when she's not, she finishes her menses. Yeah, they are saying that you can leave your wife, hence, if you don't want her, you feed her for 3 months and then let her go. So I want you to make that proportion a little bit clear, because I listened to it on YouTube. And the other thing is that, is it good to make Salatul Nabi for a dead body, which is already on the verge to going for burial?
What salat? What kind of salah?
Salatul Nabi. Like here, they would say Salatul Nabi. That's when they would say, hello?
Yes. Okay.
Like when you have a dead body, you already pray. They would say, let's make Salatul Nabi before the dead body goes to the graveyard.
Okay, I understand the question.
Right.
Inshallah, I will answer your question. Okay, Aisha from Gambia says, can you say or tell us a few words about divorce? Divorce is something that Allah has permitted, and it can take the 5 taklifi rulings, as the jurors say. And these rulings are mandatory, highly recommended, permissible, highly not recommended, and prohibited. These are the 5 rulings that all types of ibadah must fall under one of them. So divorce can be mandatory. If a woman is a prostitute and she insists on committing adultery, and you say, no, I will be with her, inshallah, Allah would guide her. What is this? You have to definitely dump her and trash her, because this is not a proper woman. I'll come back to your question, Aisha. We have Rania from Sudan. Rania?
Yes, hello, yes.
Yes, what can I do for you?
Hello, Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
Please, actually, I have two questions.
Okay.
The first question is we have a new baby, and I'm asking if we can name her Talia from the girl that is reading Quran. Talia.
Okay. Talia.
I-A, yes.
Okay.
Okay, it is the first question. The second question is I'm a single girl. I'm asking if it is permissible to travel outside my country alone without anyone with me.
Okay.
Is it permissible in our religion, Quran?
I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum,
Wa
Sheikh.
alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. So Aisha's question about divorce, it can be mandatory, it can be prohibited. And there are so many rulings on it. It all depends on the intention and the circumstances. But to put it in a nutshell, divorce is the right of a husband. So if he divorces his wife lawfully, he's not sinful. And if he is committing an act of transgression and he's divorcing her unlawfully, he is sinful at the sight of Allah. However, in this life, in this world, there are no consequences on him, meaning that, you divorce your wife, we're going to put you in jail. No, this is my right. I can divorce a woman. Akhi, isn't this unfair for a woman? The issue is not fairness and unfairness. The issue is to have a coherent house, a society that blends together. Now, when you have a husband and a wife who think that they are peers and the wife has the right to do whatever she wants and talks back to her husband and maybe beat the heck out of him, in this case, this is not a marriage. In a proper marriage, there is this weakest link, who is the woman, who is taking all the load on her head from who might be an oppressive husband. But because she knows that she can be divorced, and she knows that if she is tolerant and patient, Allah would reward her the highest levels in Jannah, and she knows that this world is temporary, and it's only a few years, maybe a few months, Allah knows, maybe a few hours. So it is inevitably going to end, and Allah would reward those who do well by admitting them to paradise in the highest levels, and would punish those who transgress and do bad by throwing them in hell. So if this mentality was among the couple, you would find that the woman is always seeking the pleasure of the husband, and the husband is so shy and ashamed of his kind wife, he has to be kinder and he has to be more loving and caring. So this, in a nutshell, is the issue of divorce. We have Khadija from the Emirates.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Assalamu wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I just called. Actually, I think you mishear my question. I asked that if divorced woman, she can think and miss her husband, and what is the ruling, if it's haram or no? And sorry, one more question. If divorced woman, it's better for her to not stay alone, and if she's working outside country, not in her home country, what is the recommendation in Islam? It's not good for her to stay alone. Jazakallah khairan.
Okay, what jazak? Okay, I think we have a break. Stay tuned, and inshallah we'll be right back.
O Allah, to you belongs all praise. You are the light of the heavens and the earth, and all that is within them. إن الذين كذبوا بآياتنا واستكبروا عنها لا تفتح لهم أبواب السماء ولا يدخلون الجنة حتى يلج الجمل في سم الخياط.
Sister Amina is asking, is it true that you can see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam in the dream? The answer is yes. Rasul sallallahu alayhi wasallam, in an authentic hadith, he said, "Man ra'ani fil manam faqad ra'ani." فإن الشيطان لا يتمثل به.
After the soul departs the body, it makes its journey to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it was righteous soul, it will be given permission to enter into the heavens. But if the soul was wicked, no. إنه من يشرك بالله فقد حرم الله عليه الجنة. Whosoever associates someone in worship with Allah, even if it is me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make Jannah haram and lawful for that person.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back. Aisha from Gambia's second question, what's the ruling that some people say when there's a dead body in front of them, or just as they are taking it to burial or to pray upon, or when they are carrying it to the graveyard, they say, offer salutation to the Prophet ﷺ. Sometimes they say, wahidu, meaning say la ilaha illallah, or say, sallu ala nabi, meaning Allahumma salli wa sallim ala Muhammad. What's the ruling on this? This is all an innovation. This is not part of the sunnah, and it is not part of the way of the Prophet ﷺ, and one should avoid this. Rania from Sudan says that what's the ruling on calling a newborn Talia? Talia in Arabic, if I'm not mistaken, means a female who is reciting. So usually they are referring to a girl that is reciting the Quran. And this has two meanings. Either you are praising this individual, this girl, and she says, MashaAllah, she is Taliyat of the Quran, and you're praising her and flattering her. And scholars say that such names that insinuate flattering and praising are not permissible in Islam, or at least are highly not recommended. So that's why the Prophet ﷺ changed some of the names, such as Barra, meaning a righteous woman. He changed it into Zainab. So this point of view of praising a girl by saying that, naming her Talia, this is not recommended. Some folks say, yeah, we call her Talia, hoping that she would become as such, not praising her, but part of hoping that she would become like that, and this is permissible. Personally speaking, I would not choose such a name. I would not definitely say it's haram. No, it is not haram. But I would rather stay away from sleeping, as they say in Syria, among graveyards, so that you don't have nightmares. So avoid something that is doubtful. Give her a better name that there's no objection to it from anyone, inshallah. Saad from the Emirates.
Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Salam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sheikh?
I'm fine. Jazakallah khair for asking.
Alhamdulillah. I have a question.
Yes.
Like, my son is a doctor. Now, in India, he likes to do higher studies. Like, they conduct entrance exams for post-graduation. But it's very difficult to get in the entrance exam. If you want, you can take the seat by paying the donation. They ask for capitation fees. 3 times the fees and all. It is a high amount. Is it permissible or not?
Now, you pay these fees as a bribe, or this is the normal school fees?
It's normal school fees is separate. But they ask extra amount, like 3 times the fees, extra amount as a donation to the college.
And this is legal?
Yeah, it's legal, and the government allows them to sell the seats, for at least 2 seats in all the seats.
Okay.
They can sell 2 seats.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
And sir, Sheikh, I want you to make dua for my children. I'm searching for the good spouse, deendar, religious spouse. Please make dua for them.
I will, inshallah.
I have one son and my daughter.
Inshallah. May Allah Azza wa Jal make it easy for all of them. Rania from Sudan says, what's the ruling on traveling? She's a single girl and she wants to travel to different parts of the country or outside of the country. This was answered by the Prophet ﷺ. who said that it is not permissible for a woman who believes in Allah and the Day of Judgment to travel without a mahram. So this is the answer of the Prophet ﷺ. Don't listen to me or to any other scholar as long as the Prophet ﷺ had said his word. Khadija from the Emirates says, what's the ruling on a divorced woman staying alone, not getting married? Is this okay? So she's asking that if a woman is divorced, can she remain divorced? The answer is there is not something that is halal or haram. It depends on her situation. Because the norm is that a woman marries again and a woman reproduces and has children. This is the norm. This is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, and this is what she should follow. But if she has a legitimate reason that may postpone her marriage or may delay it or may stop it and prevent it altogether, if that reason is legitimate, in this case, she may do this. What is the ruling on her traveling alone to a foreign country? This is not permissible. So many grave sins result from this. As we've just answered the question of Rania, traveling alone without a mahram is prohibited in Islam. Living in a foreign country is a punishment. In Islam, the punishment of an adulterer is to be flogged 100 lashes and to be extradited to a foreign country as a punishment. And if you, as a single mom or a woman, go to a foreign country, this is self-imposed punishment. I know that you're doing this because of the financial need, but again, this does not justify the haram and the dangers that Islam is trying to protect you from. Maladu from Gambia? I think we lost Maladu. Okay, Saad says she has a doctor, a son who is a doctor, and they have to pay a lot of money in order to qualify for a special certificate that he studies. And I ask her, do you pay university fees? She says this is 3 times more, but it is with the knowledge of the government, with the approval of the government and the university. And they have to give this sort of donation. I have my doubts regarding such donations, because if it is a donation given to the government by the government and no hands exchange it, in this case it's halal. Because it is imposed by the government, you cannot get this certificate without giving such so-called donations. But if it is taken and given under the table, and the head of the university and the mayor of the city take chunks of it, this is a bribe, and it is not permissible unless there is no other way you can attain this position or get this certificate which Muslim need, and you need to progress in your career. In this case, as long as everybody is doing it and they're preventing you from your God-given right, in this case it might be permissible, inshaAllah. Khadija from Nigeria.
Hello.
Yes, Khadija.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm asking if I gave birth after 40 days, the blood ceased.
I did not get your question, Khadija.
Hello. I gave birth recently.
You have just what?
Gave birth.
Given birth.
Yes.
Yes.
Gave birth to a baby.
MashaAllah. Okay.
So after 40 days,
okay,
I did my birth.
Okay.
Islamic birth. After the blood has ceased.
Okay.
The blood ceased after 40 days. I gave and the blood came back again.
How many days? How many days? How many days after you took the bath, it came back?
10 days.
Okay.
Yes.
I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Alaykum salam. Okay, Khadija says she gave birth and the postnatal bleeding started for 40 days, and then after the 40 days she saw her purity. She took a bath, and for 10 days she was pure, and all of a sudden the bleeding started again. This is not related to the postnatal bleeding. It has nothing to do with it. It has nothing to do with nifas. The new blood is considered to be your menses. So you have to observe the days of your menses, whether they're 7, 8, 9. It does not exceed 15. And after you see your purity, you have your ghusl and you start to pray again. Abdul Karim says, you said that we have to cover the vessels at night. My question is, if I stay with my wife and we drink tea while we talk, do we have to cover the glasses as it is after Maghrib time, sometimes after Isha? And the answer is no. The hadith is referring to when you go to sleep. And that is why it says to wrap your water containers and to cover your dishes and to turn down or to turn off your lanterns and anything that gives light, and to close your windows, etc. These are the instructions of the Prophet ﷺ. But if you're sitting and you have a glass of water or a glass of tea like I have now, and it's not covered, this is no problem not having it covered because I'm next to it. Exactly the same thing with preventing the children from going out between Maghrib and Isha. This is a recommendation from the Prophet ﷺ because he told us that the devils spread and they kidnap between Maghrib and Isha. But if I go out between Maghrib and Isha with my child, there's nothing wrong with that because me being with him is a form of protection and nothing would happen with the grace of Allah Azza wa Jal. We have Maladu from Gambia.
Hello?
Yes.
Okay. Is it permissible for a woman to put on a nice clothes at the same time putting on a small veil?
To put a small what?
Nice clothes. Any nice clothes.
Night clothes, yes. And then what
Yes.
to wear on that?
Small veil.
What is a small beer?
Beautiful clothes. Just
For the husband?
your hijab, I mean your hijab is small.
Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah. So, Malado's question is not very clear. She says that, is it permissible to wear night clothes and then wear on that small hijab? The purpose of hijab is to cover the beauty of a woman entirely. So her whole body is covered, her curves, and in some opinion of scholars, even her face. So what you wear underneath your abaya or outside garment, this is up to you. Whether you wear your nighties or you wear your garments or whatever you want, there's no problem as long as you're wearing the outside abaya that covers your entire body and nobody could see anything behind that, then this is permissible. But if it is exposing some of it because it's tight or see-through or it is short, then this is totally prohibited regardless of what you are wearing underneath. Aliya from Saudi.
Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh.
Assalamualaikum.
Sheikh, I have two questions.
Yes.
Sheikh, like eating Indomie and Maggi, that is India's product, is haram. Someone told me that. In that something is mixed which should not be eaten. So please, if you know any information about this, so please help by answering.
Okay.
And my second answer is, one of my friend, I gave her dawah for Islam. She is non-Muslim and I told her about Islam and she answered by saying that, she's my very old friend, and she answered me by saying that only her religion is that she's Hindu and all other religions is, she's told me something bad. So still I have to keep contact with her, or I have to stop contacting with her? So I just want to know.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Okay, Jazakallah.
Wa jazaki. Aliya says, what about Andumi and Maggi? Is it permissible for us to eat because someone told her that it is haram? You have to get evidence, because people nowadays say that all soft drinks are haram. Using toothpaste is haram. Soaps are haram. Wearing special kinds of clothes is haram. Everything is haram. Well, why is that? Islam is not a religion that any Tom, Dick or Harry could contribute. When someone says haram, he has to be a real scholar, and he has to provide evidence from the Quran or Sunnah or from the Salaf, from our predecessors, righteous predecessors. But to just come and shoot from the hip and say everything is haram, this is not permissible. So I eat, unfortunately, andumi, and the kids love it. Maggi, they say it's bad for your blood pressure, etc. So I try my level best to avoid it. As for your so-called friend, the Hindu friend, if she said bad things about Islam, and she was aggressive against Islam, then you should not take her as a friend. And why would I be friend with someone who insults my father? If she insults your mother and she says that your mother is so-and-so, and when she was young she used to do this and this, and my father tells me about her bad things, would you still keep her as a friend? Definitely not. Your religion is more important than your parents. Your religion is more important than yourself and your children. So definitely if she says bad things and you don't feel that there is a room for her to come close to Islam, ditch her and take someone better who's a Muslim, or someone who is looking forward for Islam. This is far better for you, inshaAllah. We have Sarah from Gambia. Sarah from Gambia.
Hello.
Yes, Sarah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Salamullah.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah.
Say good evening.
Good evening to you.
I have a question.
Yes.
You know, they say normally when you're going out, you should be on ablution every time.
Okay.
The thing is now, I asked one caller, and what that caller told me is when you are on menstruation, you should not be performing ablution. Like you should not be on ablution every time. Is that correct?
Okay. I will answer your question, inshallah.
Thank you.
Your question. Wa alaikum assalam. First of all, Sarah says that she has this conviction that one should always be in the state of ablution when going out. And this is baseless. There's nothing in the Sunnah that encourages this. To be always on the state of ablution, yes. The hadith of Bilal clearly states that this is a plus, a credit. But there's nothing in the Sunnah that says before you go out of your home, perform ablution. There's nothing like that. So if you go in the state of ablution or not, up to you. Secondly, a scholar told her that you should not perform ablution while you are in the state of menses, and he's right. Because it is worthless. It has no effect on you whatsoever, so you should not do it, as the scholar said, whether you go out or you stay home. Muhammad from Gambia. Mute your television and listen to me from the phone, ya Muhammad.
Naam, I can hear you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Sheikh, we love you for the sake of Allah. May Allah increase you in knowledge, inshallah.
Jazakallah khair, ameen.
Okay, you said something about somebody having a piece of land which is empty. Now I want to know, he kept it for a year or more than that, but the land is worth something. And he keeps it, is it zakatable every year? Because there's a value to the land. But he keeps this land only to build a residence, not to sell it back.
Okay, I will answer your question, inshallah.
Jazakumullahu khairan.
Wa jazak akhi. Amr says that my father died, may Allah have mercy on him. He was praying, but he didn't fast. What can we do now? If your father deliberately did not fast for any given reason, for any legitimate reason, there's nothing you can do for him. So a person who does not fast initially, without any legitimate reason, he cannot make up for that day that was missed. If he died while trying to make up for the days missed due to his illness, in this case, you may look at his illness. Was it something that he could have recovered from or not? If not, then you should give expiation by feeding one poor person for every day he missed. If not, you also can fast on his behalf. Muhammad from Gambia says that if I have a property, but my intention of owning this piece of land is to build a house, Akhi, even if you have it for 20 years, there's no zakat on it. Zakat on your property is when you intend to sell it. So it is becoming an investment, an ongoing investment. In this case, you have to give zakat. In your case, there is no zakat for you at all. This is all the time we have. Until we meet next time. في أمان الله والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance and in your deeds